So, what's the difference between DMT and mushrooms? In this video, we're going to explain the difference between the two and hopefully answer some questions you guys may or may not have. Stay tuned. Alright, what is up, pricks? Jedi Mind Prick here today, bringing you a video about what's the difference between DMT and mushrooms. Both are psychedelic drugs, both induce a very intense visual and spiritual and just overall experience. But what are the main differences? So first off, we're going to talk about the duration of the trips for each substance. DMT is going to be your short trip duration. It's going to be anywhere from between about 10 minutes to about 30 minutes on the long end, depending on dosage and depending on the individual. Mushrooms, on the other hand, they're going to last a little bit longer depending on the person and depending on the dosage again, but this dose is going to range from about 4 to 6 hours. Sometimes it could be longer, again, depending on dosage. The second main differences. Okay, so the second main differences are essentially feel to the trip. Okay, now that you have duration in mind, the feel to the trip is totally unique to each substance. Some people may say that mushrooms are very, very similar to DMT in a lot of aspects, especially when you take a lot of high doses. Now, in my opinion, that's completely false, but it's, each individual experience is different from the last. My experience is mushrooms are very, very earthbound. They kind of pull you to the earth. They react to the things around you, or it makes you react to the things around you. It brings out the shapes, brings out the colors here on Earth, and you go outside. You go outside and you see the moon, and it's just colorful and bright and swirling, and the clouds, whether they're there or not, they're purple and huge and massive and intense, and then you see the trees, and they're swaying and they're dancing, and it's like they're laughing with you and playing with you, and sometimes getting angry with you. Not taking you out separately. It's not separating you from your body. It's more elaborating on what's here on Earth. Now, DMT, on the other hand, DMT completely strips you out of your own physical body if you do the proper dosage, which I think is the real way to do DMT. There is no low dose in my opinion and my experience. The best way to go about it is just going for that full breakthrough experience. And then when you do, it just rips you from your body and tosses you to the end of the universe. Where'd he go? Is that him? Is it Jimmy? Like you're strapped to a rocket ship, and the only direction is up. And as it's pulling you away, pulling you faster, it's showing you shapes and figures and geometrical patterns and colors and reverberations, and everything is happening so rapidly that it's very hard to take it all in. That brings me rolls me into my third point, I should say. Comparing mushrooms to kind of a gentle, light, and again, depending on dose, sometimes they can be very intense, especially on the initial upbringing. Mushrooms, as it's taking hold, it kind of pulls you up and lifts you up and brings it in waves, and kind of gently feeds it to you and throws it at you, and kind of lets you experience it in a melodramatic manner. It doesn't force it on you and force you to experience it, although, like I said, it can be very, very intense, and very, very high doses can be very, very intense to the point where it's definitely overwhelming in a sense. But DMT is specifically that way. So if you're having a breakthrough experience, DMT is overwhelming. It is intense. You do get that fear factor, and your heart's racing, and it's just so fast and so intense. I compare it to a quarter-mile race. Okay, DMT is a quarter-mile race. Really quick, really fast. 440 around the track. Mushrooms are more like a marathon. Okay, it lasts a lot longer. It feeds it in waves. You pace yourself, but DMT is here, it's now, and you are gone. Last but not least, the final differences between the substances, the way you ingest them. Now, DMT, I'd say probably about 75% of the time is vaporized, okay? It is inhaled, whereas mushrooms are eaten. Okay, and those are the main differences between DMT when it comes to consuming them. Now, dimethyltryptamine you can also consume orally, but you also need an MAOI, which is a monoamine oxidase inhibitor. But there are problems and diet issues that go along with a lot of MAOIs, and it is very risky. So maybe even 80% of the time, DMT is vaporized. It is smoked, okay, through the lungs, inhaled. Mushrooms are eaten. Okay, I've heard stories of people smoking them, but I wouldn't waste it. Just consume it. Pizza, chocolate, raw, anything you can think of. Those are the main differences in my point, especially when it comes to consumption. Alright guys, so that's my video on what are the differences between DMT and mushrooms. Hope you guys got some information on that, and I hope you guys also enjoyed. And if you pricks don't mind, Jedi out. See you next time.